Hello, this is Andrew Mount for GG ahead of day 3 of Royal Ascot. It's Thursday, the 18th of June and Ladies' Day, or perhaps not given that we're racing behind closed doors. Now, an interesting card today. We kick off with the 115, which is one of the new races. This is a 10 furlong handicap. Now, the draw can play a key part in races over this course and distance. Since the draw was reversed in 2011, we've had only 19 course and distance races to feature 12 or more runners, and stalls 1, 2 and 3 had a combined record of just one win from 57. Now stalls 5, 6 and 7, those in the middle, won no less than 11 of the 19 races. So I'd be looking for something drawn middle to high here. And the ones on my shortlist, Tritonic, number 5 for Alan King, because he had a winner of a handicap with Coeur d'Alene on day 1. And Global Storm, number 8, who's 2 from 2 since being gelded. Both those wins came from off the pace on the Rolly Mile, a track that traditionally favours those who are up with the pace, so perhaps they can be upgraded. Right, moving on, another 10 furlong race, this time the listed Wolferton Stakes. Now, John Gosden's got a really good recent record in this, 4 wins, 2 places from his last 11 runners. Now, he's got a couple in here. Cross Baton is the mount of Frankie Dettori. I thought he might have been flattered by his Lingfield win last time out, though. There was a dead rail. The first 3 home came widest of all, and Cross Baton was one of those. I'd be more interested in his other one, Dubai Warrior. Slightly bigger in the betting in the mount of Rab Havlin. However, Havlin's 3 from 3 on this horse. He's a horse I fell in love with when I saw him at Chelmsford for the first time. He's an absolute bull. He reminds me of the American hero Cigar. Huge horse who takes some pulling up after he's finished his races. Now on the all-weather he's won 5 from 6 with 1 defeat at short odds under Frankie Dettori, when Dettori held up his hands immediately after the race and said it was his fault he got him beat. Now it's only his second turf start. He was a beaten favourite at Longchamp on his only previous turf outing, but if he can bring his improvement from the all-weather back to turf this season, then he could be a group winner on the grass, but stall 3 could be a bit tricky. Others to consider, Regal Reality for Sir Michael Stout, first run since being gelded. He's a tricky customer, but perhaps the operation will have made a man of him. And Sir Dragonet, of course, for Aidan O'Brien. Now, moving on to the 225, this is the Jersey Stakes. And I've got a few here that I like. One of those is King Leonidas towards the head of the betting, but there's 2 at bigger prices who both ran in the same race at Newcastle last time. That was a Group 3 over 6 furlongs. One of those, Ventura Lightning, had stall 1 that day, marooned on the far side of the track when all the action transpired towards the near side. Didn't get any cover either, was up with the pace. The race was run to suit the closers, so he did really well to finish fairly close up in that race. He was in front pretty much about a furlong out, and he keeps getting outpaced over 6 and staying on again, suggesting he needs this 7 furlong trip. And of course, Richard Farr, he's won this race twice in the last 4 years, with 25 to 1 shot Space Traveller last year and Ribchester 4 years ago. Now, also in that race was a horse called Fleeting Prince, trained by Charles Hills. He was poorly drawn as well towards the far side, this time in stall 3, finished to good effect. These ran about 50 to 1 today, and I think that could be too big. Race 4 on Thursday is the Chesham, possibly the worst Chesham we've seen in living memory, or certainly that I can remember. A couple of suggestions here. Number 3, Clarendon Cross, who did best of the closers, went a 28 to 1 third at Haydock on his debut. Reopposes with a lot who also ran in that race, but maybe they were flattered by racing closer to the pace. And the other one's also a Hannon horse, number 8, Concessions. He only won a 3-runner contest at Chelmsford last time, but Hannon juvenile winners making a quick return to action are profitable to back blind. Moving on to the Gold Cup, Stradivarius, number 4, odds on, and rightly so in his bid for a 3rd straight win in the race. He'd have to be included in Placepot and Jackpot perms. But the one I might back each way at a bigger price is number 7, Naef Road for Mark Johnson. Now, he won on his comeback at Newcastle recently when hanging to his right, and I think going back right-handed will help him. He's got some good form here at Ascot. He's won at Goodwood, of course. He likes Newmarket, so I think going this way round will be better for him. Ryan Moore's on board, 14 to 1 each way. Why not? And then finally, the last place pot leg is the 410. This is the Britannia Stakes, typically tricky cavalry charge down the straight mile. Now there's an interesting one here, drawn high. On Tuesday in the opener we saw a high draw was advantageous over the straight course. So perhaps Kondratiev Wave from stall 25, number 7 on your race card, could be one to give you a run for your money. He looks the pace angle, and he does tend to sort of edge left in his races, so perhaps that'll put him on the near side rail. And if that's the place to be, then although he's up in trip from 7 furlongs, maybe he could hold on. Others to consider, number 17, a Grove Ferry, who was a close third behind Kondratiev Wave at Lingfield last time, shaping as though he needed the return to this 1 mile trip. That was also his first start since a gelding operation. And Eshai, number 18 for John Gosden. Won at Kempton last year, hasn't shown much since, but he's been gelded over the winter, and that might be the making of him as well. So that's it from me until Friday. Until then, best of luck if you're having a bet. Cheers.